Hello folks, and welcome to another video. So in this one I'm going to be looking at why I think the Asura engine from British games developer Rebellion Studios needs to be used in more games. So before I get started though, please remember to hit that like button, leave me a comment, subscribe to my channel and share this video if indeed you enjoyed it. So, why do I think the Asura engine should be used more often than it is? And how is it better than other engines such as Unity and Unreal Engine? Well, the first thing I'll start with is lightness. So I currently have this game running at ultra settings for everything, including texturing, grass, whatnot, draw distance, and I have it running at 1440p and I'm hitting 128 FPS. Now, if I was to change the game in here to 4K, all of this stuff can be done without exiting the game or restarting the engine, which is very much appreciated, not always the case with Unreal. So, with everything tuned to the absolute max at 4K, I'm only hitting about 50 FPS. But if you were to try and do everything maxed at 4K in an Unreal Engine game, in a big, huge open environment like this, I mean, obviously, if you're looking in a small area like this, the frame rate goes up a lot. But when you're looking around like in areas like this, the frame rate will be around 50. But this is at 4K and using a 4070 graphics card, which is not really truly aimed at the 4K market. It's more aimed at the 1440p market. And I would guess that if you were to look at these two images now, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. Perhaps as I zoom in over there at the railings, maybe you can see a tad bit of aliasing, but for the most part, I would wager that at 1440p, you would have a good games experience. And at no point would you think, oh, this looks bad, or, oh, I must run it at 4K. So I'm getting over 100 FPS, and obviously as you move into indoor areas, further away from the huge draw distances, those FPS will increase, such as going in here, that's to be expected. It's unlikely you would get FPS like that in something like Unreal Engine. So the lightness of the engine and its ability to still put out a decent image, albeit lacking in some of the more modern ray tracing features, which I guess most people don't use anyway, that would be the first thing that I would say is a big benefit for the Asura engine. Secondly, the Asura engine encourages you to develop the games more individually. So Unreal Engine has a large number of assets available to developers to use, of things like textures, models, that sort of thing. And while that sounds like it might be an excellent thing to have and useful for developers, which it can be for smaller developers, what it tends to do is encourage developers to use assets that have been used many times before and that can break immersion and also is a little bit lazy. So when you see assets in a game and you think, this is a game set in space in the future, but I've seen those assets in a medieval game before, that can be jarring and also can alert you to the fact that the developer has not done the work that they should have been doing to make the game individual and unique. Now, you can be let off for this a little bit if you are a small developer, because games development, especially with huge games like this, can be difficult to do for small developers, so it's understandable. However, it's not understandable for large developers to do it, and then also when they do make their own individual textures and models and whatnot, to then use AI to try and make those models and doing a bad job of it. Unfortunately, Unreal Engine encourages that, although not deliberately. The next part I don't like about Unreal Engine is the way it deals with shader compilation. Even in games that have a shader compilation stage before the main game starts up, there's still plenty of shader stutter to be found in these games. So for example, the way I'll show you is the game would suddenly look like this. It would run really, really slow, and it would do it for seemingly no reason because you're in an internal environment here, but it turns out it's new textures have been loaded in and they need to be compiled. So until Unreal Engine or the developers using it figure out a way to make that not be a problem, I don't think it's the greatest engine to use. Uh-oh, there's a German who spotted me. I was kind of running around. Now what do? Do I just shoot him? Or do I? Yeah, let's just shoot him.
No time to waste, Harry. Need to move.
So of course, this is another good thing where of the Asura engine is that there are none of those shader compilation problems. And also, because of its higher frame rate on average, it means you're actually more accurate with your guns. Because of the higher frame rate equals being able to actually be
But the way they're set up, I reckon I might be able to
aim better.
Save myself a bit.
For example, if you're running at 15 FPS and the game looks like this, it's going to be hard to aim versus when a game's running at very, very high frame rates. So it's worth trying to get your frame rates as high as possible in every game. Not always possible in Unreal Engine. And of course, Unity Engine has many of its own problems. It's cheap and easy to use, but it has performance issues if it is not optimized properly, and I mean bad performance issues, where I've played games on my laptop, for example, that look pretty poor, but also, despite looking poor, run very poor as well. Let's see if I can blow these up. Oh, he didn't like that. They don't like it up in Captain Mandarin. So as you can see from this game, the draw distance is incredible. You can see the house right over there in the distance. You won't be able to see it from here, but zooming in you can. And yet the water and textures and whatnot still hold up pretty well indeed. Now, could an Unreal Engine game be better looking? Well, possibly yes. It possibly could be. They tend to be more cinematic, and of course, uh-oh. That's enough. Uh-oh. I better get out of his line of sight a little bit, don't I? Oh dear. Seem to have triggered the Germans a little bit here. I had better try to get out of here. I seem to have misjudged the situation somewhat here. Right. So I need to put a bandage on. Right, let's try and get somewhere where the Germans are not immediately upon me. Let's put a bandage on. Whew. That was tough. I shouldn't have really run in there like that, but I wasn't really paying attention. So, what other engines are there? Well, there's DICE's engine that they use for games like Battlefield and Hitman. I've got to be honest, that's a pretty decent engine, runs pretty well, and those games can look fairly unique as well. There are more engines, of course, out there. For example, the Rage engine used by games like Red Dead Redemption and Grand Theft Auto. That is a very good engine as well, but I would say that this engine is up there with some of the best because of, like I said, how efficient it is as well. You can run this on laptops or computers, ranging from things like Steam Decks right the way up to mid-range computers, such as what I have. It's kind of crazy that a 4070 at £550 is considered mid-range, but that's where we are. And of course, right the way up to running at 8K, for example, on a RTX 4090. So it's a very scalable engine. Let's just see if I can sneak up on some of these Germans here. If not, I'm going to have to try and shoot them again. But it's better if I can sneak up on them. Oh no, it's alright, I got him. Has the other one heard me beating him up? No, he hasn't, but he's looking in there. Luckily he hasn't spotted me. It's even with all this action going on, I'm still hitting around 100 FPS. Now, a lot of people will more than likely play a lot of their games at 1080p. And if you're playing this at 1080p, you'll get, of course, an even better frame rate on it. Where is he? You've spotted me. My little git. Who's shooting at me? Oh, I think there's a sniper. Sniping's my job. Oh no. mission failed. Well, that is nothing to do with the game engine.
Better get out of here.
It's a very good game engine. Unfortunately, I just got a little bit cocky with fighting the Germans. So that's why I feel the Asura engine should be used in more games than what it is currently being used, especially over the top of engines like Unity and Unreal. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. What do you think about the Asura engine and the Unreal engine? Is the Unreal engine just better, or is the Asura engine a better overall package, despite lacking some of the more advanced ray tracing features as it stands now, even in the latest Atomfall game? I'd love to hear your comments, and if you enjoyed this video, I'd love for you to hit that like button and subscribe and share this video as well. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day.